You might have heard that custom thumbnails are very important on YouTube, but why is that? Well, YouTube recently introduced a metric called CTR, click-through rate, which essentially means that when somebody sees your title and your thumbnail, how many people actually click through to watch your video. So the higher your CTR, the more views you get. So in this video, I'm going to show you a step-by-step tutorial how to make wow factor custom YouTube thumbnails so you get more views on your channel. So are you ready? Hey entrepreneur, it's Salma Jafri from salmajafri.com, and you are definitely in the right place if you want to grow your personal brand with video. Hit the red subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified when I release new videos. Now, I want to talk about how to make a custom YouTube thumbnail using absolutely free software, and I'm going to give you two softwares in this video, and one of them I hope is going to blow your mind. It's going to be pretty amazing. Now, this tutorial is borrowed directly from my YouTube course, so let's get started. Over to the computer. Next up, you want to create your custom YouTube thumbnail. And here's what you need to do before you start creating. Make sure that you set your dimensions to 1920 by 1080. I use Canva to create my thumbnails. You can use Photoshop or any other design software that you're comfortable with. Make sure you have picked out your brand colors and fonts. Make sure that the fonts are big and simple to read. Make sure that there is a high-res close-up of yourself with an emotion on your face. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. And it's really important if you're a personal brand and you want to put your face on your thumbnail. And you also want to use your hands to point to any text that you might place on the thumbnail because it directs the eye to read something specific that you want people to read. And you want to add visual interest in the form of colors, color bars, emoticons, illustrations, etc. So let me show you what thumbnails can look like. So here I am in Canva and I'm signed in. And if I scroll down, you'll see some of my YouTube thumbnail designs right here. And so let's do a dive into what some of these designs have and some design principles that I like to use consistently. So the first thing is you'll notice that the dimensions are set to 1920 by 1080. And you can do that by going here and choosing either custom dimensions. And you can put in 1920 by 1080 here, pixels, or you can just choose the YouTube thumbnail, which should do the exact same thing because I think this one is also optimized for being the same dimensions. So either way, you get started. And the first thing that I like to add are my colors. So if you see over here, you'll see that this document has all of these colors, but these three are listed as my brand colors. Now you can add your brand colors by going to your Canva account here, going into brand kit here on your home page, and adding in your 3 or 4 or whatever colors. It actually on the free account you can only add in 3 colors. So you add in your 3 basic colors that you want to use for your branding. And the way that you do that is by clicking on it, or if you haven't chosen one, this will be blank and it'll allow you to add your first color, and then you type in the hex code for these. The way that I found my brand colors was through just going on Pinterest and finding like a purple and gold color scheme and then choosing the ones that I like. So that's how you add your brand colors here. And now once you have your brand colors here, the next step is to pose for a thumbnail. Now this is something that you want to do while you're filming your video. So you're in character, you're wearing the same outfit that you are in the video and all of that. And since you have planned out what your thumbnail text is going to be inside your video content plan, and you know what your title is going to be, think about what pose is going to match with all of these things. So in this case, I'm saying how to introduce yourself on YouTube. And then the thumbnail text is kind of like a fun take on that. It's, hello, my name is Expert. I'm introducing myself. So I thought, okay, what can I do to introduce myself? So let me show you all the thumbnails that I actually took. Okay, so in here, inside my Google Drive folder, you can see all the thumbnails that I took in front of my green screen, which I thought go along with how to introduce yourself. So I was like, okay, when you introduce yourself, you say hi, you have a wave. So some kind of a wave pattern, that's what I was trying to emulate. And you can see how many tries I made to try and get this right. And they all look pretty funny. And then my daughter joined me here as well. So we're just fooling around a bit here. And there's some that are clearly just not right. There's some that are better than others. You want to try a variety of emotions on your face. You want to try a variety of poses. You want to make sure that you're holding your hands the right way, you're looking the right way, you have the right expressions. So, just give this a shot and try and get a pose that you're happy with. And then what you want to do is, if you want to, since I'm using a green screen, I want to remove the background for my pictures here. So what you can do is use a website that removes the background. I'm just going to show you that in 1 second. And if you are going to keep the background that you have shot the video against, then that is totally fine as well. So that's up to you. Okay, so to remove the background, you want to go to remove.bg. Okay, this is the website that we want to go to. And you want to either select a photo or enter a URL. So in this case, I want to select a photo. This was the one that I used. I think it was this one. Okay, and I'm going to just download this so I can use it. All right, there we go. And then I'm going to upload it right up here. Okay, and it's going to automatically remove the background, and then I have this picture to work with. This tool is pretty accurate, but in case you don't get a good result, you can always edit, and then you can either erase or restore depending on whether the tool has done a good job of it or not. And you can, so this one is the erase, and then you can have like a smaller button, and then if I go here, it's going to erase more of my hair there, like that. So if there's like something that you want to erase further, or if you want to restore it again, then you can do that as well. Obviously, I'm not doing a very good job of this. So I'm just going to reset the picture because the auto result is pretty good in this case. And I can also zoom in and do a more accurate version of this. And then all I do is save the picture. And now it is good to go and upload for use on Canva. So I'm gonna come out of all of these windows, go back to Canva. Okay, and let's start a new thumbnail here. So let's remove everything from here so I can show you how this whole process works. So the first thing I'm going to do is add in my background. Now you can do a simple background. You can just choose a color like that, and that could be your background, right? Depending on whatever your brand colors are, you can just choose a simple background like that. I want to choose my branded background, which is this. So I put this up on screen. And the next thing I want to do is add in the image that I just saved from remove.bg. So this was the image that I got. And what you want to do is hone in on your face and your expressions, because that is the thing that counts a lot in terms of whether people are going to click on a video or not. So you want to have a clear expression, a clear face that really showcases what the vibe of the video is all about. So you can see that I made it a little bit bigger actually in the actual thumbnail. So I usually do up till my waist, or sometimes I'll just do shoulders and chest. That's about it. And the reason I'm positioning it to the right is because I want to use all of this area to put in my text. Now I use color bars for my text, and I wanted to show you something very cool about color bars. Okay, so this is my Google Photos account, and what I wanted to show you here was this picture that I grabbed off of CNN. And you're gonna find this funny, but the reason that I snapped this screenshot is because I loved how they use these color bars and did their branding with 3 different color schemes. So obviously they have red, black, and white, and you can see that on red they've put white because it stands out, and you want to make sure that you have your font and your background in high contrast. So white stands out on red, black stands out on white, and then white stands out on black. And so this is how they did their color scheme. So what I did was I went into Canva and I tried to think, okay, what are my brand colors and how can I make the text stand out with using color bars? And so on purple, white stood out the most. On white, both yellow and purple stood out, so I kind of had a choice. And then on gold, purple stood out. So I thought this would be a fun color scheme to use, and so that's what I started to do here in my thumbnails. And so the first thing that I did was made this and wrote the text and then decided what color is going to go on top of what color. So let's quickly do that. And you also want to make sure that the font is big enough. So a big thing you want to do is, right now it's 64%. So what you want to do is actually bring this down to 25% and see if you can easily read it, because that is the typical size of the thumbnail that's going to show up on desktop. On mobile is going to be even smaller. So you want to have a font as big as possible so it can be easily read. Okay, so for design purposes, I'm going to come back to 64%, and here's how we're going to do this. So I'm going to start from scratch here just to show you. Normally, I just use the elements that I've already made, but in this case, let's start from scratch. And what I'm looking for is a solid rectangle piece that I can use, which is right here. And so this is going to be my first color bar. I'm going to put that here and then change its color to gold, like so. I'm going to move my picture just a little bit more to the side. And then the next color bar is purple. So I can literally just copy this, bring it down, and alter its color as well as its size. So this one is purple. And that's it. That's what I'm using in this particular video because it just has a few words. So the next thing I want to do is add in the text. I'm going to go here into text, click add heading, and I wrote hello in all caps with a comma, and position that there, and make sure I change the color in this case to white. So there we go. And the font for this is Oswald because I think it's nice and simple and clean to see and read. And then I'm just going to adjust the size of this text to where I can see that it makes sense to read it from afar. So that's too big. Let me just make sure the entire text box fits in here. So let's come down a notch. And that looks good. And then I think we'll go ahead and make it bold just for that extra emphasis. And we'll change the color to purple. Okay. So that is the first piece of text on there. Just going to make sure it's centered a little bit. Okay, the next thing I want to do is add my name is in the same font. So I like to use just 2 fonts in a particular thumbnail design because I find that that keeps things clean and uncluttered, and it makes it easy to read as well. So let's type in my name is, and I'm using gold for this. So let's go here and change that around. Let's make sure we adjust the size of that, like so. And we can either increase the size of this bar to fit this, like so. and then make that bold as well. So I like to go as big as possible. And then the third font that I'm going to add is the one for expert. Is that how I wrote it? Okay, so this one will be in white. Don't know why it's not there already, but you can just choose it. And then the font for this is playlist script. And what I did was slightly rotate it as well, just for a fun effect. And then you want to increase the size to as big as it'll go while still being up on the screen. Let me just check. This was 140. Okay, let's just make this 140 as well. So once you have chosen, you can adjust the exact points here. Make this larger and go here and position this to where you want your text to be. So I want the end of the P showing. So what I'm going to do is make sure everything else goes up a bit. So just get this out of the way so I can choose everything else. And position this slightly higher, like so. And then put this back up here. So it looks kind of cool. Like that. Okay, now you want to add in whatever fun elements you can into your video. So what I decided to do was accentuate the wave, because it just looks like I'm putting my hand up and it could be like a stop sign or something. So I wanted to show something that would look like a wave. So what I do here is go into elements and search for some graphics, and then Canva has paid options as well as free options, and so I just want to look in here and see if there is absolutely anything that I can use. And I saw this one and it looks perfect to use, and it's free, and it goes with my color scheme as well. So absolutely perfect. If it didn't, I can actually change the colors from here. So I could actually just go like make it red or something, whatever, right? So I'm going to undo that because it's perfect, and then I'm going to rotate it to fit above my hand, a little bit like that. Rotate it a bit more, bring it down, and that looks really good. So now you can see that the blue really adds in the wave, right? Otherwise it could be misconstrued as just a regular hand up. So that's what you can do. And the next thing that I did in this one was I added in approved seal. But if I were to do this video again, I can see that at 25%, the approved seal is not really showing too well. So I would probably not do that again. I would probably put in a YouTube sign here instead, just to give it some context that I'm talking about making YouTube videos and doing introductions for YouTube videos. So I might put in a YouTube play button here, something like that. So you want to add in whatever will give your video context. Let's say you were doing an Instagram video, you would go and put in something like this perhaps, or maybe if you're doing like a video that's showing somebody being sad, you could type in sad and add in some of these emojis, or you could just type in emoji and use whatever emoticon goes with the emotion that you're trying to convey in your video. Let's say it was like the perfect YouTube script, and this would be like the the perfect emoticon or the perfect emoji, whatever it is, to put over here. So you want to add in these little bits of pieces of design to your thumbnail. You also want to make sure that you download this thumbnail. So if you have a lot of files here, you want to choose which number you're downloading. And then I always download PNG because that is higher quality than JPG. So you want to do PNG, download it, and then once you save it, you also want to make sure, and this is like a ninja tip that I do, you also want to make sure that the thumbnail file is named the same as your focus keyword, because Google Images is a search criteria. And so what you want to do is, instead of naming it BTM 111, you can actually name it How to Introduce Yourself on Video, which was the focus keyword that you were going with. Wow, I would love to know what you thought about this custom YouTube thumbnail tutorial. The thing that I really enjoyed and what I enjoyed teaching were two things. One, my favorite win was how to use remove.bg to remove the background. And the second thing I loved was the fact that naming your thumbnail file the same as the keyword that you're trying to rank for is going to help it to show up on Google image search. Those are two ninja tips that I took away, and I want to know what was your favorite takeaway from this video. Tell me in the comments below. If you want to learn how to grow your YouTube channel from scratch, from 0 views and 0 subscribers, then go and watch my YouTube masterclass that is going to show you a 30-minute masterclass on exactly that. Remember to go after what you want and build a brand you love, because you can be the media.